Hey buds, this is Tim Herzog. I'm out here at the boatyard, and I wanted to just quickly kind of introduce myself by video. This is, by the way, like my first video ever of this kind, and just kind of give you a little tour of why I'm asking so many questions of you guys in the forums. So yeah, I'm here. This is behind me. This is Cloud 9. There she is. She's up on blocks. This has been her home now for a couple seasons. You may recognize her as an Allied Seabreeze, 1967. So the older or maybe younger cousin of the Sea Wind. So that's part of the reason why I have such an affinity for you guys, is the boat itself. And you may also notice that she's missing something, noticeably the tow rails. So this has been one of the big projects is to remake the tow rails. So I'm making these out of teak, wood obviously, teak, and I've been working for a while. This is the bow piece where it's gonna mate with the casting on the bow part, and you can see the port side there, and I'm starting on the starboard side. That's really roughed out, and eventually this will become one very, 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 very long rail. So that actually is about, the Seabreeze is about 34.5 feet. That rail is about 38 inches. I spent a lot of time scarfing the joins. You can kind of see right there. And getting this all smoothed down and ready to mount. And as soon as we got a break in the pandemic and I can put together a team, we'll have 4 or 5 guys out here bending this onto the boat. Here's some more shots of the paint job that I'm going to have to deal with. Along the transom there, I actually sanded that back, and that took actually several days worth of time to sand that back to that green. That's like the original gel coat that I resealed. Not really looking forward to having to do that on, this is a paint job. This is not the original gel coat either, so this has all got to be sanded back somehow. It's gonna be a lot of work, and I'm trying to figure out how much of that I really want to do myself versus farm out. And at this point, I'm looking at trying to do a little bit of both. And what I'm going to be working on today is I took the chance to pull the chain plates. So they're here. These are the starboard ones. I got them all pulled out and shined up, cleaned up, and then the holes that I took them in, that's these guys here. I've got them just kind of covered up with a piece of plywood for protection. Hopefully I can get these guys off. And then some temporary butyl tape down there. This was not me before, but whoever installed these before or replaced them didn't do a real clean job of cutting through the holes. So there's some on all 3 of them there. That's pretty nasty. So I'm gonna do some epoxy to sort of fill that in and get that a little tighter before I put the chain plates back in. And then another little project, this one's all done now, but I put on some nice handrails to replace some aging ones there. So those have been on for about 6 weeks. That was a winter project. Those are done in mahogany, and then finished with Epiphany's varnish. Okay, so it's the end of the day. I'm starting to wrap up here, and thought I'd just show you progress. So these are the 2 of the 3 chain plates that I trimmed up the through holes on. I'm sitting on the 3rd one, but that one's done too. So you can kind of see here's where the chain plate itself comes through, and that's nice and snug there. If you're wondering how I came up with that nice rectangular hole without filling it in, since that's going right through the deck, I took a piece of this XP, I think it's XPS insulation. It's the stuff that you use to insulate your garage with and stuff like that. And I just cut off a little wafer like that, sanded it down to the right. It actually comes in this thickness, which is just a little bit more than the width of my chain plates. See? Sanded it down, and then there's duct tape on the bottom of these things, and I just kind of stood it in there like that, stuck on the duct tape, and that sort of formed a little blank where the chain plate's going to go. And then I filled all around that with epoxy, and then when it dried, I just kind of cut this out with a chisel. So there's that. So looking forward to getting that sealed, but that'll have to wait for another day. That'll be sealed up with butyl tape. And then my other project is this first section of deck rail, starboard side. That's teak.
and the tricky part is getting that join to join fairly well right up there at that fitting. And then you see that it's kind of got, I think it's called a canting, when you've got this kind of trapezoidal down to square cut that comes down here like that. And then on the outside too, I don't know, didn't really see that. But anyway, so that was fun. Kind of working out the math and you know, doing that woodworking with a planer. But now it's time to go home. So later.